And that, just based on the drawings, I don't think is necessarily a good idea. So we're going to stick with orthographic projection for now. And then we'll take some stuff off the end because this is really important, understanding orthographic projection. So when we get to week 9, I'm going to share my screen with you. So here we are in week 9. I've highlighted it and I hit it before, so it's here. So we just have 2 drawings for this week. In day 1, we have a simple, we call it drawing number 12. So for drawing number 12, the one thing that I've noticed in all of our drawings, each hole will be represented in all 3 views. Many of you have, if you could see the hole, for example, in the top view, you may have drawn this hole and this hole, but in the front view, you didn't draw it. And it's like, well, he will still be there. It's just going to be shown with hidden lines. I am behind on grading. I have everything through drawing. I don't have the test and I don't have the V group, but everything else I have graded. And you'll see in there some things that I've noted and done some sketches on your drawings. But they're going to be there. And remember, we talked about all holes have what?
Center lines.
Center lines in all views. So in one view, it's going to be a crosshair. In the front view, and in the right side view, it's going to be a center line, just a vertical line. But in many cases, some of you are putting a center line in one view, in another view, but maybe not the third view. So you have to look and say, do I see this center line or this circle? It's got to be in all 3 views. And if it's a circle, then it has to have a center line. So I've got to show those in all 3 views as well. So this drawing can be a little bit confusing. Just remember that if you draw the box first, figure out your length. Now this drawing deals with symmetry, meaning that everything is equal. So when it shows us here this 2 by 38, and this is a metric drawing again. So we're going to use the scale everything up by 24.5 like we did last time. And I believe that I have the video on that as well. So we're going to say from the center of this circle over to the center of this circle is 38, which would mean from the center of the circle here back over to the other side is also 38. So whatever I see on one side, it's going to be equal on the other. So, and then I can look at my radiuses and it tells me that this is a 15. This radius on the outside is 15. Therefore, this one is 15. So if I go 38 plus 38 and I go 15 and 15, there's my length. For my height, I can see that my height is 35 to the center of the circle. And I can see that my radius to the outside edge up here is 15. So I know from the center of this circle to the up top is 15. So I can do some simple math and go 35 plus 15. 5 and 5 is 10. 3, 4, 5. So it's 50 millimeters from the bottom to the top. So now I can make my box. So once we start drawing that box, it's really going to help us to see how much room and how much space I'm actually going to need. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of this. Now in this drawing, I can't remember if I had, we wanted to mention it. So remember, we're going to have to go into our dim setting and change our dim setting to 0. Remember, so that if we get 11 millimeters, it's 11, not 11.000. And then in our second drawing, we have our second drawing, what we call drawing 12A. Oops, wrong 12A. That was my my guide. So for drawing 2, we've got another piece like this. Again, this is a metric. And this one's a little bit difficult to draw. So this one you got to spend some time with. Again, we're still drawing a box in the front view, a box in the right side view, a box in the top view. and we're just drawing the views that we can. Now, on the last one, that was these goofy blocks that I gave you from last week. Most of you did fairly well, with the exception of one line that you omitted, and that was like on the notch on the side. You showed the notch in the front view, but that line, it continues all the way down, so there's an edge or a surface that we didn't show. So there's just more practice of this. So that's going to be the 2 drawings for this week. Remember, I'm not too focused on deadlines or timelines moving forward. So right now we're in week, really we're supposed to be in week 11, but we're working 9, 10 right now. I just want to make sure that we are getting the skills that we need, that we're being successful. Everything that we're doing online for all the classes are a little different. Just because you came into this, you didn't sign up for online. There are some different skills to learning online and not having resources. So we're just going to back it down a little bit, and we're going to make sure what we do have well. So we have those 2 drawings. And then next week we'll start, I believe we're in auxiliary views next week. So next week's our meeting will be a little bit longer, simply because there's more information for us to cover. So I'll have some, I have some videos that I have to produce or get out of my archives and get into Blackboard, so that you'll have that available to you. Did everybody get the email from Dr. Cannell this morning about credit, no credit? I'm not sure how that's going to go. I would assume, and this is, I have questions, and in our meeting this morning we were talking about it as well. Credit meaning, I believe if you have a C or better, you get credit. But if you have a C minus and you have for no credit, then you get no credit. So if you're going for a certificate, that makes 0 sense. And that's the way I understand it. I'm still looking for clarification. Also, they also mentioned there that if you're not happy with your class, that they will allow you to retake the class, I believe, for free at a later date, whether it be in the summer or the fall. I'm looking for more information on that too. That was just something we talked about in our department meeting, and all of a sudden I saw it 20 minutes later in the email. So that's something that you can look into as well. If things don't go as well as you want, we are teaching EG110 again in the summer. Mitch the Merchant is teaching it, or has a section, and I'm supposed to have a face-to-face section. So we're not ruling out the fact that we could have a face-to-face. It just doesn't sound very likely. But anyway, we're focusing right now on setting those up so that they're online. So starting from the beginning, it'll be a little bit different than what we're dealing with right now. So the other thing we talked about is maybe trying to get it hybrid. So not that affects any of you, because most of you are doing very well, but just a thought if that's something that you are interested in. So there are a couple other classes. I'm not sure what your class paths are. We also have DR150, which is SolidWorks. That's going to be available in the late summer. So it's going to start in June through August. And then there's also Inventor, DR140, that can be used as an elective if you're going through the degree path. But again, each of you has your own separate path, so I'm not sure what you guys are doing there. For me, if I can help you, the easiest way for me to help you is right here through Zoom. I mean, as you're looking at me, it's nice to have people with a video on so I can see you and I can see you're attending to me. If you have an issue and you're like, I don't get this, if you just send me an email, I mean, I'm only 20 feet from my computer at any given time. We can do a Zoom meeting just between the couple of us, or 1 or 2 of us, just you, if you like that. And then you can share your screen. Just like I shared my screen with you, you can share your screen with me, and I can walk you through and help you with any issues that you may have. The problem is when people send me emails and say, hey, my AutoCAD won't install. Well, there could be 100 possibilities there, and I don't know which one it is. And that's just an example. That's the most common email that I've gotten since this whole thing started.
I'm guilty of that.
What's that?
I'm guilty of that.
and I completely understand. It's just, I don't know what kind of computer you're using. I don't know what just installing things on my own laptops, 2 computers, you don't get the same error. So it's just tough to understand what it is. So when I can see it, sometimes it's easier. And I think it's more comforting just to be able to look at a screen and hear someone talk to you and have it point, in real time, as opposed to trying to dissect what an email is trying to tell you, and then not getting the information when you want it. You want the information now, and you don't get it for 12 hours. And then just so you know, after 8 o'clock, because not so much for you guys, but for the rest of my classes, at 8 o'clock, my wife has asked me to put my computer away. She says, "You're on." I get up at 7 in the morning, most mornings, and I'm on. That from 7 to 8 at night. She goes, "At 8 o'clock, I want it to be family time." So I understand that you guys have schedules. So you guys are special on Monday nights, that if you need me, I'm here. But the rest of the week, Tuesday through Sunday at 8 o'clock, I shut down my phone, and I don't really shut it down. I just walk away from it. We're not using technology at that point, and just focusing on our family at that time. So does anybody have any questions moving forward for this week? Okay, drawings are looking pretty good. You guys are getting the hang of this. When we get into threads and fasteners later on in the course, we cover threads and fasteners for the next 3 classes. So if that's something we blank out in this class, that's something I'm not worried about. Like I said, orthographic projection, this is really important because this is the basis for all the drafting that we do. Okay, so if you have no other questions.
Can you leave up your other videos?
Everything will stay up.
They're gone on mine.
Which from last week?
Yeah, everything's in like day 2, day 1.
Let me go back. I'm going in there right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I was trying to pull all the PowerPoints. I was trying to source all the PowerPoints that were added, and I was pulling them all down so I could start looking at them too.
Yeah, week 8, day 1, everything's gone. Day 2, there's just notes.
Yeah, I had a problem. I emailed you about day 2. I couldn't get the drawing PDF to show up.
On day 8. So what I'll do is I'll go back to day 8. It's going to take me a few minutes.
Week 8.
And I'll go back into week 8, and then I'll open everything up so you can see everything that's there.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. All right. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll start doing that right now.
Okay.
And then I'll get this posted for the other people who didn't show up in our meeting today. So
I have an unrelated question after this.
Go ahead.
It's about SolidWorks. I just started getting into design tables at work.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you worked with design tables at all.
Yep, we do design tables because our design tables, when we're going to use multiple sizes, for example, an Allen wrench.
Yeah, like patterning. Mine's mostly with patterns.
Yeah, it's going to have a common pattern. It's basically like writing a formula. You're going to put in a global variable where you're going to say A is the, if it's, I'm using the Allen wrench for an example, across the flat, we're going to call A. So on a 10 millimeter, it's 10, and a 9 millimeter, it's 9, and then how long is the shank, we'll call that B, and on this size, and you'll fill that chart in, and then SolidWorks will generate the graphics for you.
Yeah, mine was trying to figure out the top code, because normally in like in row 1, it'll throw in like the money symbol and then some way of calling up what you're actually trying to.
It's easier than that.
To relate to.
It's easier than that. You don't have to do any of that. You do it in Excel.
Yeah, that's how I've been writing everything in Excel, and then leaving row 1 open to be able to call up whatever response, because that's the design tables I had already from work, and I'm refixing everything because all of our patterns are off now.
Row 1 is really about naming it, what it's going to be called.
Okay. So that's how you set up your configurations then?
Yeah, so you'll go in and you'll draw 1, and you'll call that default.
Yep.
And then you go into your design tables, and you're going to add a configuration. And using the design table will automatically generate those other configurations for you and give them names because you'll call them out. For example, you would say, a 9 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 11 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and it'll call it out as that. And then all the dimensions go with the chart, and it generates it for you.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Right.
Because that's what I'm going to be doing all day tomorrow.
I actually have a video on that I can that I can send you as well. That
Oh,
explains
that'd be-
how to do that, and it makes it really simple.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Okay,
Okay. Awesome.
let me
Thank
write
you.
that down here.
Yeah, because that's my whole day tomorrow is fixing design tables. So,
Okay, I'll forward that video to you so you'll see it.
all right. I appreciate it.
All right. All right, you guys don't have any other questions? Be safe.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. We'll see you guys next week.
All
Thank
right,
you.
sounds
Good.
See ya.
Adios.